G'day everyone, I'm the man called Kemosabe, the man with the plan from the land down under, and this is my review of Tin Soldier issue 2. I reviewed issue 1 fairly favourably. It had some growing pains, but it was colourful and the hero was unabashedly a good guy. Out of his depth, naive even, but for all its modern trappings, it could have been a Silver Age comic I was reading. And that suits me just fine. Issue 2 picks up maybe only days after issue 1. Generic crime boss man has a sewer worker, or maybe a dock worker, killed for failing to ensure the safety of his drug shipments. He has the worker injected with a deadly batch of the drug, and then he gets him thrown into the sewers. I'm guessing for a death by overdose diagnosis rather than a lead lobotomy diagnosis. I'm guessing Coletta, the crime boss here, never read any comics as a kid. You don't inject a dude with experimental drugs, and you sure as hell never throw him into toxic waste. This guy is just creating problems for himself. In the next scene, Tin Soldier is on parade. The city's leaders want to show him off and give the citizens something to be proud of. Tin Soldier thinks he'd be better served by going after Coletta. A protest turns up, shouting "No justice, no peace." They don't want a superpowered cop patrolling their city. I'm wary of people chanting "No justice, no peace," but I also think a superpowered cop is just asking for trouble. Luckily, we know Tin Soldier has the kind of rigid moral compass that makes the best kind of heroes. Just saying though, you don't want this guy getting superpowers. Poor grammar. This next bit confused me. These three people are exiting a homeless shelter while complaining they deserve a parade, which made me assume they were all superpowered, otherwise why else would they think they deserved to stand shoulder to shoulder with Tin Soldier? Then they all look shocked, and see, I thought this guy in the beanie suddenly joined the protest and grabbed a plank of wood and a brick to join in. But they just look similar. That's the sort of thing an editor would pick up, right? The editor that's not credited on this book. 2 books in a row without an editor now. I mean, some people never learn. The trio move to stop the protest. The red-headed dude uses super speed to disorient the crowd. The green-haired girl creates vines to bind them, while the guy in the beanie hangs back. When the green-haired girl is targeted by a driver in an SUV, the guy in the beanie activates his geomantic powers, maybe, or maybe some kind of remote explosive powers. I'm sure it'll be cleared up later in this issue. He absolutely destroys the car. I thought he'd killed the dudes inside, but luckily they lived. The beanie guy was genuinely distressed by the idea that he might have hurt or killed someone though. Tin Soldier shows up with SWAT, thanks to Trio for stopping the crowd without hurting anyone, agrees to a selfie. Then it blows my mind that this red-headed dude that I thought looks 35 is in fact a child. The last couple of pages showed 2 stinger scenes, one of the injected sewer worker emerging as a mutated creature from the front cover of issue 2, and another of a public domain hero being put into stasis as the last resort to safeguard humanity in the future. From the promo material I've seen from Nicholas Greer, this character, Captain Battle, is set to become part of the Tin Soldier story. And with those 2 scenes, this issue ends. I'm sorry to say, in just about every way, this issue is a step down from issue 1. They've changed artists, and this art has a kind of hardline, amateurish feel. You know, in high school when you or some guy you knew tried drawing his own comic and used felt tip pens to do the inking? Yeah, it looks like that. A lot of the art looks heavily referenced from photos. Not traced, mind you, not necessarily, but it has that kind of stiffness you get when an artist tries to adhere too closely to the reference material instead of using it to shape and guide his own renderings. The colouring is harder and more bleak. Tin Soldier looks white, not metallic. I think flatter colours would suit this art style better. Some styles of drawing are not complemented by modern computer colouring, and this is one of them. The pacing on this book is confusing. Not the story, it makes sense, and in ways it's made up of classic beats and scenarios, but the pacing is confusing because the title character is only present for 5 pages. 6 if you want to count the 2-page spread as 2 pages, but it's still 1 image. 5 pages of the guy I paid $5 to read about. In 2 issues, all we've seen him do is throw 4 punches. I know, because I went back and counted them because I'm a pedantic spurg.
He's an asshole!
I want to see your characters doing cool stuff that suits their story, their goals or theme, or stuff only they can do. 6 pages was spent on the sewer worker and the crime boss. 8 pages was spent on the Goodwill Avengers here. Throw in a few pages of Captain Battle and some drawn-in perk tier panels, and that's the whole book. I don't know that setting up 6 other characters for future issues and future plot lines is the best way to be doing things when the titular character is so new, and we know so little about him. His goals, his powers, and his motivation. I'm buying Tin Soldier to read about Tin Soldier. Here's hoping issue 3 has more of the character in its pages.